Hello everyone, Onlydraven here again, and today we're doing another tutorial in Minecraft All the Mods 8. Today I'm going to be doing an introduction into the Productive Bees mod. The Productive Bees mod is a material supplies mod, which means by harvesting resources from the many different bees included in this mod, you can attain a lot of different materials, items, and types of things you're going to need to progress through the playthrough. It is a wonderful source of supplies and something that's a lot of fun to play with. So I recommend definitely dabbling in the Productive Bees. Now, if you find this video helpful and you like it, please be sure to click like. But most importantly, please remember to hit that subscribe button so that way you can see all my videos and tutorials as they come out. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going to go ahead into our inventory and we're going to pull up the Productive Bees page. That's this page here, okay? And this page has a lot of different things to deal with, but we're going to start here at the very top, which is the first one. Now, it shows that I've already got this because I had to get a couple of the items to be able to set this up, but we're going to start with the very first step. And the first step in this process is to get a honeycomb and a honey bottle. So honeycomb and honey are the primary resources produced by bees. There are many different types of honeycombs that you can use to make more items like iron and gold and diamonds and all sorts of extravagant, cool little items to make. But to start everything off, you need to get a hold of some honey and you need to get some honeycomb. So let's look at how you're going to do that. So a couple things we're going to need to start off with. We're going to need a pair of shears, which is just 2 iron ingots. We're going to need a campfire, which is 3 logs of any type of wood, 3 sticks, and a piece of coal or charcoal. We're also going to, in a little bit, need a bee cage, which is a bottle of honey and 2 oak planks or planks of any type. There's the actual Productive Bees guidebook, which is one of those bee cages I just mentioned, and a book. And then there is a nest locator, which is going to have 7 gold nuggets, 1 note block, and 1 iron bars. So right off the bat, you're also going to need some glass bottles, which is just 3 pieces of glass. And you're going to get a hold of some of those. So let's grab ourselves some bottles. We're going to need that campfire. Right? And then we're going to need a pair of shears. Now, you're going to have to go out into the world and find yourself a bee nest. Now, I've put one here so you can see approximately what they look like. And here's a bee. There's some flowers, and this is a bee nest. Now, they're located throughout the world, and we're going to go take a look at one real quick so you can see what they look like sitting out there. So I flew around, and I came this area, and I found a couple of nests right next to each other. It was actually very convenient. So there are 2 nests here, and as you can see, there are bees hanging around. Now, bees will only come out of their nest during the day, and they will not come out if it's raining or thunderstorming. So if it's nighttime and you see nests but no bees, they're inside kind of just hanging out. Now, one other thing I'm going to show while I'm here is just next to it, over here, I found an oak nest, which is one of the type of nests you're going to use to get some of the more specific bee types. If you look in the upper left there, it's going to say that inside of this nest is a yellow carpenter bee. So if I had a way to catch a bee right now, I could get him, or I could take this nest back to my base or wherever I'm playing the game. You can also make these nests. There he goes. He just popped back out. So that little, that is a yellow carpenter bee and one of the more collectible bees in the game. But you're looking for bee nests. Now, you'll see here that there's 2 little brown circles there, right? See those little dots? They are brown. That means that there is no honey inside of those nests currently. So let's go back to the one that I had at my little starting area here, okay? Now, bees need a couple things to get working. They're going to need that nest. As you can see, these ones have yellow circles, which means there is honey in there. It's actually dripping out of the bottom of it. Now, bees are going to get pollinated with flowers. And you know, these little white dots on their butt, that means they went around and they got pollen from the different flowers. They take it back inside, they turn it into honey or honeycomb. So, if you use a bottle on a beehive like this, it will become a bottle of honey. If you use shears, you will get a honeycomb. Now, if you do this, you're going to anger the bees inside. They're going to come out and start attacking you and stinging you. So if you'd like to get those things without taking damage, you're going to take a campfire and you're going to set it underneath the bee nest. Okay? Basically smoking out the bees, which makes them docile so that they will not attack you. So if I now take my glass bottle, and let's go ahead and put myself back into regular play, not creative, and I take a glass bottle and I right-click on here, you'll see that I now have a honey bottle. So I took the honey out, and that gave me a honey bottle. So now I need to do the same thing with the shears, but there's no honey left in there, right? So I have to wait for them to fill it back up again. So let's go ahead and skip ahead to where there's some honey in there. Okay, so we've got some honey back in there again. Put that fire back down. So now that it's got honey back inside of it again, we've got our smoke going in there. Now we're going to get our honeycomb by using shears. So by right-clicking, you'll see I got 3 honeycomb out of that hive, using up all the honey. So you're going to need at least 1 honey bottle and a honeycomb in order to complete the very first achievement in the Productive Bees page, 1 of each. Once you've done that, you can claim your rewards, which is going to give you some more honey and more honeycomb, and let you move on to the second step, which is capturing the bees themselves. So capturing the bees requires some bee cages, right? We want to catch these bees, which are normally out in the wild, so we can bring them back to where our area is, which is what this little dome is going to be. So let's go ahead and take our stuff outside here. Get ourselves a chest. And set that down. Put away all those things we just grabbed. Okay? So now we want that bee cage. We're going to take that honey bottle I just got, and we're going to use 2 oak planks, and that's going to give you 4 bee cages. Okay? So there's my 4. So doing this recipe will give you 4 cages. And they're like a lighter brown color here, as you can see. Now, if you go into your JEI, you're going to see that there's another type of bee cage that's a darker brown. Now, these ones are not craftable, okay? These ones you can find in different places throughout the map, different dungeons. You can find them in different chests, as well as if you find a beekeeper in a village. So, now it is getting to be nighttime, and we know that bees are not going to be hanging out at nighttime, so we need to make it daytime. So let's go ahead and switch it to daytime. There we are. And we're going to go inside. So with the bee cages are one-shot items. You can use them one time. So if I go up and right-click on a bee, you'll see that now in my inventory, I have a bee cage bee. This will let me transport that bee anywhere else I want to take it in the world. So if you go out in the world and you find any bee, doesn't have to be a standard bee. There was that yellow carpenter bee we saw a little while ago. If I had a cage, I could grab him, bring him back, so I now have that kind of bee. And then when I get to wherever I want it to be, I just click with that cage again, and that sets him down much like a spawn egg does. But it does use up this bee cage, so it's a one-shot item. Once you put the bee back down, that cage is gone forever. The dark brown ones you can find out in the world that aren't craftable are multi-use. Use those as often as you'd like, but they'll only hold 1 bee at a time. Okay, so now we're going to go in here. We've made our bee cages. We've got that done, right? And as a reward, it's going to give us one of those sturdy bee cages, which is awesome. So now I've got a multi-use. I'll grab him, set him back down. Grab the other one, set him back down. You can use this one as often as you'd like. Now, again, I want to point out, as you look at these bees, these little white dots on their butt, and they're dripping off of them. That means that they have been to a flower and are carrying pollen, and that those can now be, those bees will go in and turn that into honey. This one here does not yet, and that's why he does not have any of those little dots. Now, the majority of bees, the standard bees that you're going to catch out in the world, are going to need a flower of some kind. And pretty much any flower will work from any of the mods included in this pack, including Botania, which is a large selection of the bees that you find out there. Specialty bees will very often require specialty items in order to pollinate. So, for example, a redstone bee might need a block of redstone, and so on and so forth. But we'll address that a little bit further on when we get to the specialty bees. So the last 2 things that we're going to make here, that we talked about, is going to be a guidebook, which is a book, and one of those irregular bee cages you make. You can use a sturdy bee cage if you want, but I don't recommend it. You're going to waste a good bee cage. And you're going to get yourself a guidebook. Let's go ahead and grab this one. So the guidebook is going to offer you additional steps and information about the productive bees mod itself, such as getting started, different types of bees. The great thing about all the mods 8 is majority of what you need to know, you're actually going to find just here in the bee pages itself. It's going to walk you through it. Once you've made your book, you can go ahead and get some experience by turning that in. Okay. And that is going to give you your big book of bees, which you can go through and read through some of the things there if you'd like to know more about the mod itself. And then the last thing is that nest locator. The nest locator is going to be very important for you, especially early on, if you're looking for a specialty type of bee. Let's go ahead and grab that. So the nest locator, if I right-click on it, you see that a nest was located 31.11 meters away. Now, how did that work? Just me clicking on it in the middle of nowhere. Let's take a look. When we go in here and we scroll over this, it's going to say right-clicking on a nest of the type you are looking for will point you in the direction of another. So if I wanted to click on an oak nest, it will then show me where to get to another oak nest, or a different type of nest, like a dark oak nest, for example, or a dirt nest, which does exist as well. So this is going to show us how to get to the different bees that we're looking for, different nests. But there are easier ways to do that, fortunately. Okay? So now that we have these items, and we have a book tells us something about it, how to find nests, we've got a way to capture bees, and we got a little bit of honey and honeycomb on our nest, on our belts. The next step we're looking for is our first beehive. This will be the last step we talk about in this one. So a beehive itself is going to be 6 pieces of wood, planks, any colored, and 3 honeycombs of any kind, although early in the game you're only going to have standard ones. This is going to give you a beehive. There is a beehive of every different type of wood, pretty much, for the standard woods. As you can see, there's spruce, so there's regular beehive, and then there are the advanced ones, which come in all sorts of different woods. We're going to talk about them later. But a standard beehive is going to give you an easy way to get honey and honeycomb from your bees that you've brought back with you. So we're going to make one of these by just putting 3 oak or 3 wood blocks at the top, planks, 3 planks at the bottom, and 3 honeycomb, and that's going to give us a beehive. Okay, and I do apologize that I didn't have that recipe up on the board with the other ones. Didn't quite realize I was going to show this step in this one, but I think it's important to do so. So let me go ahead and just grab a regular beehive. Grab that. Got our little achievement up there. So our beehive we're going to take, and we're going to set that in here in our little area. Now that we have a beehive, we're not going to use this anymore, okay? Because this would have been out in the world. I put one here just for us to have an example, so we didn't have to run back and forth to that place I found. But the beehive is going to work in the exact same way as that little bee nest that we found. This is a place where your bees are going to go inside of there. They're going to produce honey. They're going to produce honeycomb in the exact same way, and you can use shears and you can use bottles to get the honey out of there so that you have a steady supply of those materials. You're going to need a lot of them, so getting a lot of bees and multiple hives is going to be really important to you so you can start progressing forward in this pack. Now, we're going to go ahead and click that one off our list. And that's going to get you started. It may take you a little while to find some bees. They're not everywhere, but they're anywhere, if that makes sense. They're all over the world. I would recommend targeting just standard forests, biomes of any type. There are different bees you can find out in the desert and in snow biomes and in the jungle. And if you come across some bees and you have some bee cages, definitely grab them. And especially if they're a non-standard bee, they're a specialty bee with a special name, like that yellow carpenter bee we found, go ahead and grab them and bring them back, because that's just going to make it easier for you down the line. So this was just a brief introduction to get you started, show how to get some honey, how to get some honeycomb, and how to get that production started back at your base so you can start moving forward with productive bees. Again, this is a wonderful mod and probably my favorite mod in this pack to play with. And there's a lot more tutorials I'm going to put out on the more advanced ways, such as breeding beads and the different machines that are included in this pack. So definitely stay tuned for those. But if you have any questions about this tutorial or any of my tutorials, please be sure to put those down in the comments, and I'll do my very best to get back with you as quickly as I can, as well as any suggestions or recommendations you may have for other tutorials you'd like to see in Minecraft All the Mods 8. You can also go to my website, Onlydraven.com, and at the bottom of the homepage is a place where you can leave suggestions, recommendations, or questions. You can send those to me via email. Feel free. I'll do my best to get back with you as quickly as I can there as well. While you're on the website, you'll find things like my streaming schedule, links to my socials, and a bunch of other cool resources. Really do recommend checking out the website. But that is going to do me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.